I was born to go deaf. I am so grateful for this gift. Oh, well, it turns out that casting um, made it clear to me that I wasn't disabled enough to qualify.
You know, sometimes I say that I was born hand in hand with my enemy.
That's what we all should be
Yes.
striving for. Empathy is hot. Empathy is sexy.
Hello and welcome to Goes Here. Today, we're joined by someone whose courage speaks straight to the heart. She's an actress, an author, and a hearing health advocate. Tiffany Storrs, I'm so deeply honored to have you here.
I'm so deeply honored right back at you, Anna, for sitting across from you and going on a deep dive. There's nothing I love more than depth in conversation, in life, in relationships. So I'm so excited to share space with you today.
So I read your book, I watched your interviews, and I was so inspired by your story. But I'm wondering, for those who may not know your story, would you like to share your journey with hearing loss?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. I think at the heart of it all is hearing loss or not, my story is a story that everyone will be able to take something away from. And I think it is through these stories, whether it's directly related to us or not, we find a common thread of resilience and grit and motivation to keep on tackling our own challenges, whatever they may be. Mine in particular was hearing loss. And I will put this in a very condensed way, but I grew up perfect hearing, normal
Mhm.
hearing. No one on either side of my family even
Family.
has a hearing aid. I am, I always call myself the 1%er. Like if it's gonna happen to me. And that's okay. And I've seen that to be true and in both good and bad. So I'm just different. But as the one
Unique.
percenter, yes. So the hearing loss itself coincided with the birth of my first child. So my husband and I did fertility treatments for a long time,
Mhm.
for over 4 years. And so we did seek out fertility treatment, and there was a little information about some of the drugs and the effects had a small percentage related to hearing loss links, but it was so insignificant that there was way bigger fish to fry, if
Mhm.
so to speak, and just getting me pregnant and getting carrying a full term pregnancy was challenging in itself. So what was interesting though is that 2 weeks after the birth of my daughter, I lost all hearing on one side, which was so blindsiding that I almost love it because, and I say that now only because had I known that was coming, it would have paralyzed me. I would have been terrified, especially as a new mom. We already don't know what to do, right? Everything
Exactly.
is upside
Exactly.
down. Life doesn't make sense. You're
Mhm.
figuring out a new path. And then parallel to that, I was figuring out a new path on how to be an effective mom, how to be a member of this community as I was losing my hearing. And I adjusted to the single-sided deafness quite well. It was not a walk in the park by any means, but I adjusted. And then after my son was born, I lost all hearing on the other side. So I have what we call bilateral deafness, profound deafness on both sides. there's no real rhyme or reason. Hearing loss is it's such a big umbrella term. I mean, could have been X, Y, and Z reasons. However, my intuition led me to believe that it was so direct with the timing of the pregnancies and the giving birth, and how that worked out, that surely it was related. I sometimes hear my daughters say, "Yeah, like it was because of me," and I'm like, "It wasn't because of
Wow.
you. Like it wasn't. I if someone would have told me, 'Hey, Tiffany, you are going to be a mom someday. You will have children, and that dream will come true. But let me tell you, there's going to be a little twist in the road, and you're going to go deaf. Are you okay with that?'" I'd sign up again
Hit sign
and
up.
again and again. I always say now that I was born to go deaf. I am so grateful for this gift. And I say this to not try to convince anyone. I'm not here to um,
I know,
have
I know.
people sign up for the, but
Yeah,
for me, it is a gift. And I will explain that. And that I'm a very low sensory person. I don't like a lot of big crowds. I don't like loud noises to begin with. I get overstimulated really fast, and I love having the superpower of taking these implants off and then pop, I put them
yeah.
back on, and then sound off, sound on, sound. And I now have reshaped what I thought was once a very unfortunate situation into the most beautiful blessing I could ever receive. Like I mean that with all sincerity, and I want people to really hear that. Like I am so proud of my disability, and I love who I am wholeheartedly. Like all of me. Exactly. And I wouldn't change it any other way. I honestly say like this was God's perfect plan. I was born to go deaf, and my children were a vehicle to that path. And on this new path, as a hybrid hearing slash deaf person, that's when all this change happened. That's when everything started to pivot, and all the light just started flooding in, like purpose, awareness, intention. And those are really those pivotal moments. They said the two most important days, like when you're born in your life, when you're born, and then when you find your purpose. I have
Yes.
found my purpose going deaf. And it's ironic that it would lead to a career on screen, which required me to speak and to hear. And you would think, gosh, that would be terrifying. That would be terrifying in that moment and with that disability to do what you're going to do. And I knew that at that moment in time, I could either choose to be fully deaf and not get implanted with a cochlear implant. But my children were so young when it did happen that for the sake of them, um, I did want to go with the decision to receive cochlear implants because it was the best of both worlds. And the
Yeah,
cochlear implant is a medical miracle by all means. By all means. I mean, that I'm able to have this conversation and hear you so clearly and you hear me right back, and that we can have impact, and that I can say things that are heard and that I hear. That is a complete miracle because I am more deaf than I am hearing. And a lot of people don't know that. Which leads to that segment of why I have become the person I am today, why I have transformed and morphed into this wildly fierce, disruptive health hearing advocate. Because boy, oh boy, did I see a difference in how I was treated in a hearing world versus a deaf world. And living in both worlds now, I can so clearly see the bridges we still need to cross and the
exactly.
communication that we still need. to bridge. And I have this gift now, this gift to see both sides. And it is truly a gift. So I am 100% certain that this is my purpose. This is my light. And I love getting the chance to tell this story because it's not about me. It's really about at some point in our lives, we are all going to fall upon a disability
Yes,
of
because
some sort.
yeah, because you were I was reading your book and you were referring to the invisible disabilities. So I'm suffering from chronic anxiety, which for me is like, you know, sometimes I say that I was born hand in hand with my enemy. Like I was born like with fear. I always get that feeling, that I'm afraid of something. And throughout the day, it gets easier sometimes, other times it gets worse, but it is an invisible disability. Um, so, through your experience, how do you think that people with invisible disabilities can see their disability in a better way, like, to gain courage from your story? What means did you use in order to become friends with your disability?
Absolutely. Well, first, recognizing that it is a silent disability, and there are so many silent disabilities out there that collectively, as humanity, we really need to level up in our awareness, in our empathy of these silent disabilities. Hearing loss, ADHD, Lyme's disease, chronic anxiety, migraines. I mean, people struggle all the time. And visible or not, it is not our position to doubt, to look and say, "Ah, no, Anna, you look great. Your hair is like
Yeah.
awesome today. There's no way. What are you anxious about?" That
Everything
is
is okay, right? Right? Yeah.
unacceptable and inappropriate. And I tell you this, Anna, because I was doubted so fiercely that I was going deaf. People, I will never name names. There was two people in particular that really shaped the powerhouse that I am today because they gave me so much doubt about my condition that I was maybe falsifying this whole claim that I have a theatrical background and that maybe it felt natural to me to make this up. And I'm sorry. Like, really? Like, talk about emotional whiplash. Like, I'm making this claim up. Well, I'll tell you and everyone else, like, receiving a cochlear implant is not a cosmetic surgery.
Of
It
course not.
is head surgery where your skull is cracked open and you receive a transmitter with a magnet that allows you to rehear with the sound of beeps. And so I say this because we are so quick to say, well, what is your disability? We would throw up if we saw someone in a wheelchair and saw that they like someone was not helping them open the door or offering a ramp
Hmm.
to get to where they needed
Yeah.
to be. And yet you and I have disabilities that are very unrecognized or underrecognized, and no accommodations or little accommodations are rarely ever made, and it's more like an afterthought. Well, like
Hmm.
I know for me, if I tell someone I'm deaf, well, they just start talking louder like this. Or
Louder.
do
Hmm.
you read lips? No, I don't read lips. I'm like, do you read lips? Because that's it. Wow, I choose not to. I prefer to communicate in a more civilized manner using sign language, or if you give me a minute to put on my implant, or if you mind repeating yourself, like I
Hmm.
respond with compassion and with empathy and with education, because that is the missing piece, is the education piece. And unfortunately, Anna, the weight of that falls on the disabled, the you and I who are carrying and living with a hidden disability. It is up to us to inform
Hmm.
and to educate and to tell people how to best accommodate us. It is literally our job. Like I will, some people are just paralyzed, like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm just not going to do anything and make it really awkward or make it really unpleasant or
Mhm.
act like I can't deal with them, push them away. And that's I've noticed that's a very common response. So instead, I take the high road and I say, I know it could be frustrating not knowing how to communicate with a deaf person. Do you have type to text? Do you want to text me something? Do you mind just saying that a little bit louder? Um, do you mind turning on the closed captioning on the
Mhm.
on this film? Do you mind, sitting in a quieter booth in this restaurant so that we can better conversate? And that that is my proof to bear. And I feel though that more often than not, not all the time, but more often than not, people are really grateful for that guidance on what to do next, how to better engage with you. And
Yes.
so I feel, Anna, between you and I, and it is, and to everyone out there who is living with a silent disability, it is absolutely our social responsibility to educate and to represent and to tell people, foster that sense of understanding of
Hmm.
how to better accommodate our needs and what those needs look like. Some people just don't even know like what that looks like.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I feel, awareness and understanding are the biggest components, especially with silent disabilities. Like the burden of proof is, I think, is ridiculous. Like no one should need to show their medicine. Like I'm on these anti-anxiety medicines and I should never have to like show my
So
implant,
yeah.
although I show it all the time. But that should never happen. It still does. So what I say is like the ADA has revolutionized accessibility for all of us, and thank God for the ADA. But we didn't come this far just to come this far. Society, as collectively, as a culture, as society, as human beings living in this world, oh boy, we have so much more work to do. We need to level up. Like if we're
Yes.
we're like right here, we need to like blow this chart off. And to do that, it's is do the thing you want to see, be the light you want to see, be the fate, be the change, be the force, be that person who makes a little bit noise, who makes a little bit of noise and talks up about it. Like be that, so that someone else who comes after you has a little bit smoother of a road to
Exactly.
navigate.
Yes. Yes. So, Adaptability is the title of your book, and I want to ask you, what does adaptability mean to you? Like, how did you pick that title?
I love that title. I love that title, Adaptability. That came to me when I was reflecting on my whole life, like my whole life. And that is the one skill. I don't know how I got it, where it came from, but it has always been mine. You give me a pressure cooker situation and I will figure it out. I tell you, like, I don't know if it's a blessing or
It
it's
is a blessing.
but it's
It
some
is.
like, if you were just throw something like a hypothetical at me right now, I could do it and I could figure out a game plan. And I don't know. And I'll tell
Were
you,
you always like that?
yes. So, and I think, and I'm going to share with what I think helped cultivate that was one, my mom was a single parent.
Oh,
We were
like me.
very, yeah,
Exactly. Hmm.
very poor, very humble. Um, if if I was gonna, if I needed something extra than
She would
what,
find the way?
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I would have to find a way. I couldn't bear, I saw her working three jobs. My brother and I were 11 months apart. I saw her hustle. I saw her work. I just had this huge compassion for her and I just wanted to help make lessen her load. So I started working when I was 13. I started figuring out how to pay for my own college and I did. Um I earned a presidential scholarship, paid my own way
Mhm.
through school. And it's not, and I don't say this because I was naturally smart. I'm not. it takes me like 3 times to learn what, like, if you read a chapter, most people are like, oh yeah, I got it. I'll have to go back and reread it and reread it. I'm a very slow learner. And that's okay though. But like, I know how to work hard.
You're
I know how to
putting
work
in
hard.
the work,
And
yeah.
I
Hmm.
always did. And then I started, so I knew I could raise money and get scholarship funds with good grades. And then I heard about pageantry at our local mall. There was a flyer and I saw something about cash prize scholarship money. I'm like, sign me up. I
Yeah.
remember telling my mom, so I decided to enter the Miss Albuquerque contest. And oh, and actually it's tomorrow, Mom. And can I borrow like one of your business suits? Because there's this interview part that I'm gonna need. And she's like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, like it's tomorrow.
But she
She's
was
like,
in, right?
she's
Like,
like, Tiffany, you have no like what? I'm like, trust me, Mom. I have an old prom gown. I'm gonna just figure this out. Like and I tied first place for first
wow.
place with another contestant, and they based it off an interview question. So it was me, and I'll never forget this gal, Samantha Sangel was her name. She was like the ultimate, um, like you just wanted to be her, right?
Oh,
Every
yeah.
every girl wanted to be Samantha
I
Sangel.
get it.
And I was like just so happy. I was like this with her neck and neck. And it came down to an interview question. And I beat her out just by 9 tenths of a point, by 9 tenths. And it wasn't about beauty. She was like, woo, like off the charts bombshell. It was about what was here and my hunger and my desire. And I realized I had this crazy ability to think on my feet, and I was almost better prepared being underprepared in the most random way I can say that. Um, in fact, one of my things is now one of my nuances is that in preparation for interviews, TV interviews, podcasts, um, you name it, I don't really want to know the questions beforehand. I
Hmm.
think I am my most authentic when I'm on the spot, when I'm on my feet. But I realize this is a skill set that paralyzes most people. Most people would not want, they'd be like, please tell me what you're going to ask me so I can prepare
Yes.
something. And so that's different and that's okay. And it led me down to the most interesting career path because then I studied broadcast journalism in college, and I'm also fluent in Spanish. And so I went to work at Univision, which is a Spanish speaking news station. And I worked
Hmm.
my way up from little teleprompter intern all the way up to the line director. So I was
Unbelievable.
directing the 5 and 10 newscasts. I mean, we're talking director calling the shots, tell, calling commercial breaks, keeping the time of the show, air traffic control of live TV shows twice a night, the 5 and 10. It was
Wow.
everything came down to me. And I loved it. I loved the chaos. I loved figuring problems out on the spot. And I remember having to, like, one time I had to call, I was sick or something. They're like, I don't want to do her job. It's like, and I'm like, I could probably do it from the phone, but,
Wow.
and so, and I
I
tell
would
you, it's just,
freeze.
I don't know whether just
It's a
came.
gift. It's a
It
gift.
is a gift. So now,
Yeah.
like, it's so funny. My children will run into like weird situations, right? About losing a passport, and then I need to get, and they're like, you know what? Give this to mom. In under 10 minutes, she could
She
probably
will
take
find
it.
the
And
answer.
I do, and I tell you, I don't know where this comes from, but I have to use this. I have to use this skill. I had
Of
to.
course you have.
Absolutely. So
So,
it's the adaptability to come full circle to that. I can't think of a better word. Like I've always been able to do that. And then I've found myself that if I get in a comfort zone, which I call them dead zones,
yeah.
I will purposely try and create a pressure cooker situation.
Something.
I will
Yeah.
create barriers for myself. I will make something harder because I feel that is the only way I am growing and evolving. And I need that like I need air. I need to be growing and I need to be understanding why things went wrong and how to fix. I I don't know.
So,
Okay, you're
Tiffany,
gonna
you never thought of giving up. There wasn't a moment where you felt like, enough
ever, ever. And
ever.
it was sad. I mean, I love music. I love conversation. I was terrified these things would go away, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. But, and I tell you, I knew I was going to do it. And that is the difference. And I say this now, it's like, you don't have to know how to figure it out right now. Like anyone who's listening that's going through anything major, like bankruptcy, major life change, loss of a relationship, loss of a job,
A loved one
a
or
load, right? Yeah. And they don't know how they're going to figure it out. And they feel it's okay. You don't have to figure it out, but you do have to know in your heart of hearts that you will figure
so
it
it's
out.
believing, right?
Absolutely.
Believing that
And
everything will work out.
And then once you shift and pivot in your mind, like, I will figure this out, oh, the universe works magic for you. People will appear, teachers will appear, guides will appear to help you
To
figure
help
that
you.
out. But once you open that and surrender and say, I don't know how I'm going to do this, I know I am. And I know that the universe will respond to this, my God will respond to this, and trusting that this can't you can't practice adaptability without trust or surrender or faith. It will blow up. Like it won't. Like there's the realness of it though. It is magic. It is magic that once you have chosen to look at your struggle, your setback, say, okay, here you are, buddy. All right, I'm gonna go adapt. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to make friends with you because immediately that's going to disarm your power. Now I
Yeah,
have you,
yeah.
you don't have me.
You don't have
Like I
me.
could do
Yes.
whatever I want with you. I can get an implant. I can sign now. Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to have to figure out how to get along. We don't have to even like each other, but let's figure how to get along and let's start like right here where we're at. Okay. We're going to take baby steps
Mm.
until we get along. And I challenge anyone who's just really struggling right now, like saying, this woman is crazy. Like this, surely it was not that easy. And I tell you though, once I decided to get along with it, everything shifted. And if I used that mindset, I don't know how I'm going to figure out my deaf card, but guess what? I am. And to everyone who said I was making it up or I couldn't do this, it was going to be too challenging to keep acting, to keep to work in the entertainment industry. I'm like, nope, I'm going to show you how it's done. And since then, I have also become fluent in sign language. So I feel I'm like, okay, you other actors, can you speak three languages? Because now I can submit in three different languages. So that
Yes.
kind of gives me an edge up. So all you guys who doubted me, it feels sorry that I only get the hard of hearing and deaf roles. Oh no, no, no. I'm competing against you two in English roles, in Spanish roles. And I'm like, what language do you also know? I'm like, it's a challenge to me. I'm like, you doubt me? I will prove you wrong. I will, but
Yeah.
in the most loving way, because I feel like everyone is working through something, and it's easy to get stuck and say, there's no way out of this. I can't, it's too much, it's too much. No, there is always a way out. There's always, but it's a mindset shift,
Yeah.
and it's okay if no one believes you. You just need to believe yourself, and you don't have to know. Like you say so beautifully, I didn't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I work every
Yeah.
day for answers. So do I. And that's why we are human beings living in this world. Nobody knows everything. I've only
That's
learned
the
that I
biggest.
have so
Yeah.
much more to learn. That's
Yeah.
the
That's
only
the
thing I've learned.
biggest reason that I started this podcast because I wanted to find some truths, about myself. And through connecting, through talking with other people, listening to their stories, their journeys, you get to experience and learn so many things about yourself. And I find that amazing. Like, that's why I was looking so forward to this discussion because the way you deal with things, like, seeing your disability as a blessing, you know, for many people, it's hard to believe. It's really hard
I
because
bet.
there are so many people struggling with so many things, not only disabilities, but problems, things that seem too big to deal with them. Um, so this is so inspiring and so motivating. But as you say, it's a mindset. I think the more you try to resist and not surrender, the bigger the problem gets. But the minute that you surrender and stop resisting,
It
I think that's
unfolds.
where the magic begins.
And that's where that I always say struggle is the entry point of joy. If you're
Yeah.
struggling, that means you are this close to joy. It is through that struggle and through that discomfort that you just know you're like, oh, I'm struggling. Some breakthrough is coming. I know it.
Something good is
I don't know
happening.
what it is yet, but I can feel it. It's coming. And I get excited when I'm uncomfortable now. And I just want to just share some of that enthusiasm, that practice. And no, it's not easy. I'm a little bit more accustomed to it than normal, and that's okay though. But it's like exposure therapy. Just keep throwing yourself in uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable
Yeah.
conversations, challenging yourself to make it more difficult, because it's only hard until it's easy. That's I love
Yeah. It's only
that
hard
statement. It's
until
always
it's
be
easy.
true. It's only hard until it's easy.
Yeah.
So keep
Yeah.
doing it. It's going to get easy. And on the other side of that suffering, that challenge, there is a look, joy that for you, for your taking, for your blessing, for yours, and it's endless,
Yes.
because the struggle will be endless. There is no set limit. Like, okay, Tiffany, you've had your fair share of struggles in your life. You're good. You get to just full on joy here on out. That's not true. That's not true. But I know that I'm super well equipped for whatever's down the road for me. And I need to share that with other people, because to empower individuals to know that they have that same superpower. This is not something that that is exclusive to me at all, by any means. This is all transferable. And that's why I say it, because if I've done anything on this planet Earth, it is to help relay that message that that's a learnable skill, that's transferable. That's in You don't need to buy anything, you don't need to it's in you already. You got to see it and work it though. And it's a muscle that if it goes unconditioned, it's not you got to access
Yeah.
that, eat and just dive into the discomfort until it becomes comfortable, because it does. It becomes so comfortable. And there is so much joy, and there's so many lessons and assignments along the way. And like, I think I know what just happened here. I struggled through that so that I could feel this moment here, be in this and have this understanding and have
Yeah.
this level of empathy. It is for that I am now here and can give this.
I was wondering, do people from the entertainment industry treat you any different because of your hearing loss? Have you ever felt that you were treated differently?
Oh, you betcha.
Mm.
Um, Boy, this is a big one. So, okay, and I say this, and again, it's always said with love, that I love to educate and foster, because I do experience this a lot in my industry. So a casting call. Let's give this an example, a recent
Mhm.
example. It was for an energy beverage, and they were looking for disabled actors. Okay, great. I'm gonna totally submit. I drink that drink anyway, and it's like a perfect fit. Oh, well, it turns out that casting um made it clear to me that I wasn't disabled enough to qualify. And I
What
thought,
did they mean by that?
oh, they right. I wish I could disclose. And I'm like, shame on you, because just because you can't see my deafness
Mm.
does not mean it's not there. And to discredit, so I felt like a double disability. Not only do you have, you're not disabled enough.
Enough.
Like, is more visible. I'm like, I don't know how to make this more visible to you. I mean, I'm happy to wear my hair up all day long, which I usually do. I almost never have my implants covered up. I'm always showing them off, not just
Hmm.
displaying them, showing them off, because I'm super proud of them.
Yeah.
And I always write back, and with education and with kindness and explaining the perspective of a silent disability perspective. And a lot of times people say, wow, because of you, I've reworded something and I've learned something, and
Hmm.
I've helped refine casting processes. I've been part of accessibility audits and fairness discussions, and I'm helping to reshape I mean, because we truly want to see our own selves represented in the media that we watch. I want to see deaf people. I want to see hard of hearing people. I want to see hybrids like myself. Anna,
Hmm.
you would probably, we want to see people who have our challenges. I want to see someone
Yes.
too who has anxiety and has insomnia, and who has like we want to see ourselves. So it is very inaccurate to deny that, like, someone's disability should not be represented in the media. That's absolutely bullshit. And I am such a fierce disruptor when it comes to that. Like, when I get onto set, and I mean, if I find like it's important to say I'm deaf, or hey, I won't be able to hear a action cue if you're far away.
Hmm.
I mean, I will disclose that if it's necessary, but otherwise it's like, I the right set should never make you feel like you're gonna slow the production
The
process, because
production.
I
Yeah.
have been on the wrong set before where they were worried I was gonna slow down production if I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. Let's clear this up. Instead of your action cue, instead of you verbally calling that, can you just gesture over here? It's the same thing, and I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
It works. So it and I've seen the look on production when they're like, that makes everyone's life easier, actually. Like, these cues
To
are
wave.
actually
Yeah.
beneficial to everyone. And it's not a high maintenance thing by any means. I'm like, no, no, no. I won't hear that cue because you're like 30 yards away. Just wave to me, or my scene partner can poke me. That works just as well. And you
Yeah.
show them, and you show them,
You
oh,
show them the way.
I
Yeah.
thought she was going to be a little slow and difficult. Maybe her, oh, no, no, just doubt me again, and I'm gonna keep showing you you're wrong, because I can do anything that you tell me I can't do. I'm gonna show you. Like, I love proving that, because I always have to work harder than someone else. It's
You know.
I don't know how to not hustle, how to not work hard, how to not go the extra mile, because I have to. And
Yes.
that's okay. Like, at the end of the day, if I was casting, and someone showed up with that kind of attitude, and knowing that they were gonna go the extra mile, they've had to work double as hard to get in, you're hired. I
You're
love
hired.
your heart, your passion, your determination, your discipline, you're in. Like, to
You're in.
me,
Yeah.
that's love. That's love. And that's empathy. It is not like, "Wait, she's gonna be slow. She's gonna try me. Try me. Wait, I can even talk really, really, really fast too. Like, just come close to me."
Oh, you're wonderful. I was thinking about inclusion. Like everyone speaks about inclusion, but do they really understand what that means? Because, they're promoting inclusion, but I don't know it's if they really get the point of inclusion.
Oh,
What does that mean?
that means, I think you're right. I don't know if I think it's scary that people think they understand inclusion, but then what it looks like and how it's executed is totally different. They don't
Mm.
understand what it
The
like
term, you're
the
like,
picture
what?
of it,
Yeah, yeah,
and it the worst part is treating inclusion as a trend.
yeah, yeah.
Um, no, that is horrifying. It is not a trend. I'm not going out of style. Neither are my needs, and neither are my counterparts who are struggling in different ways.
Hmm.
That we're, it's not a sexy trend that's coming in and coming out. No, it's decency. It's humanity.
It's humanity.
It's called being a human being who participates in this world, who
Hmm.
lives here too. No, that is, and I always say this is sick. It's sick, and uneducated thinking. When we say, well, yeah, I like the idea of inclusion, and it's like the new hot thing. It's in. I'm like, hot thing? No, it is crucial that you understand it is here for good. Uh, this isn't. This doesn't end with us, right? Like this is
You
here.
you many times said that connection is a birthright, which
Connection,
is
yes. And
like,
and I tell you, Anna, that doesn't stop when someone loses their hearing. And I'll tell you, people have tried to make it stop, and I'll
mhm,
say, "Oh, hang on, I wear an implant. Give me 1 second. Let me turn it on." And they're like, "Oh no, 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 no." They don't want to. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Wait. I
yeah,
I have a lot to say, and don't just like don't deny me access to the conversation. That is a birthright I'm born with, and you can't take that away from me. You just can't. You
yeah,
just can't."
yeah, yeah,
And that is everyone's birthright. And connection is such a sacred gift. To try and say, like, oh, it's just too hard for you or for her. No, 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 no. It might require a little bit more time, a little bit more patience. Um, that's okay. That's called empathy. That's what we all should be
yes,
striving for. Empathy is hot. Empathy is sexy. Like, that is the sexiest quality someone can have, is awareness and
and
empathy.
empathy.
Like,
Yeah,
that will turn me on. Someone says, "What can I do? Did you hear me better like this? Is this your good side that you're?" I'm like, yes, like
yes,
that.
yes,
Let's bring that. Now that is sexy,
yeah,
and it's not a
yeah,
trend. It is being a decent human being.
yeah. I say that, in a world that is chasing sameness, how can we help others make them understand that our uniqueness is our superpower? You know, like, we don't have to look alike, we don't have to be the same. We have to understand that each one of us is so unique, and that is a gift.
What makes us different makes us better. And I'm going to say that again and again and again. What makes us different, so different, makes us better. And it would be such a disgrace to try to make yourself blend in or be part of the group. Like, be sane, be common, be the norm. That
Yeah, but
that that
isn't
is
that
not
what everybody's chasing right now? Like, they through social media, everyone wants to be liked, wants to
and
be
it's
accepted, wants the likes, the so are we losing ourselves in a way?
absolutely, it's an identity crisis. And it's an identity crisis of the, like, sickest sense, that it's going to require major thought leaders like you and I, Anna, who are taking the stand against it, and who are going forth with a different direction and saying how that's like grossly misleading, and that isn't the right way. That wasn't God's plan. That wasn't the universe, how we were created to be and feel and act like everyone else. That is not celebrating our unique divineness. Like that, it's that's a disgrace. Like, I want to love what's different in other people. And I
Hmm.
want people to love me because of my difference, and celebrate that in each other. Let's
Yes.
celebrate that
Yes.
I have freckles, and
Yeah.
you have the brown hair and I have lighter. Like, let's celebrate those differences in each other because that's what makes us beautiful. And that's what makes us go round. I need
Exactly.
you need me, and you need me for a different reason, and I need you for a different reason. Everyone is going to need us for different reasons. We can't all be the same uniform person, the same, like, uh,
Yeah.
that would be reckless and very dangerous. So that's not the goal to be chasing. And I will say this till the day I die. Like, it's okay to go with the unpopular choice. It's okay to be
Yeah, it's
different.
okay.
It's totally okay. And embrace what's really you. Like, what's really you. Like, what makes your heartbeat. Like, listen to that. That's your heartbeat.
Yeah. I think we spend our lives, trying to understand and learn who we are. Sometimes I wonder, do I really like this? Like, is black my favorite color? Or, you know, uh, even simple things. Is it, my opinion? Or have, am I just, imitating somebody else? Or am I trying to adjust to what is correct to say or acceptable? Because you know you want to be accepted, you want to be liked, but sometimes you really lose yourself, you lose your identity, who you really are. And you know
But
it's
Anna,
real upsetting to me.
you said the magic piece though is that you had the awareness that you're doing that. So as long as we can be aware of what's going on and recognize our thought patterns and like, oh, I kind of feel like I'm comparing myself to so and so, and let me just get back on track and recognize how we're doing that and how to get out of that. Always like that, the
Yeah,
awareness of that. That's human.
that's human. Yeah. So another question I would like to ask you, is like, okay, you were always like that, you were always so strong and will-powered, but somebody might say, Tiffany was always like that. So it's kind of obvious that she was able to deal with her problems the way she did. For someone that cannot, feel this powerful or to deal with his problems, what would you say to them? Like, what is one way to tap into your inner power when you feel completely lost?
That is such a beautiful question, Anna, and I say that yes, maybe I have a higher tolerance for ambiguity and discomfort, but it doesn't mean that any of these lessons and these skill sets were like pleasant. Like, some of this stuff was really unpleasant and hard to
Of
learn.
course,
And
of course,
but rolling and have but so I always go back to surrender is the greatest tool in my toolbox. I've realized that in any situation, rejection, heartbreak, life changes. Like, the more I surrender, the more I will learn and the more I will adapt. And I know anyone out there listening can apply this to anything, to anything. The resistance though is what's gonna put the biggest roadblock. The once you surrender, like the universe, your God, whoever you answer to, like, things, spaces change, thoughts change, and things
yeah, because
happen
maybe
for you.
surrendering is not giving up. It's like
Absolutely.
embracing and what is happening. And
I never fought the problem. I just wanted to. It was too many people fight the problem or just or get stuck on it. I wanted to problem solve. I was always thinking, all right, this sucks, but but here's what, like, people just want to say, well, that really sucks. I mean, that, like, really, 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 really sucks. Yeah, but how are we shifting? How are we getting out of it? So
yeah,
stop. and stop that. Like the minute you hear yourself, if you have to say it more than twice, like this sucks.
Hmm.
It sucks. That means you're not taking an actionable step. You're not doing something to solve. And so if you hear yourself saying more than twice that something sucks, it's because you're sucking at solving the problem too. Like you need
Yeah.
to execute on that. How to make it not suck. Like that's up to us. And everyone has that ability. You gotta stop saying we gotta stop saying that, like, and focusing there on the problem, because there's gonna be another one next week for me or next year. I know they're coming, but I know that I know how to battle them. And if anyone needed help, like it's so easy to tap into the surrender and recognize, okay, okay, I got you. I don't like you, but I'm gonna make friends with you. We're gonna
Hmm.
figure this out, baby. We're gonna figure it out because there's another one coming. There always is.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very powerful. Um, so I don't know, your story is so, so inspiring. Like, uh, I learned so many things. And I always, you know, that really hit hard that connection is a birthright. Because I always feel like we're all connected by an invisible thread. I believe that we're all connected. And when we get to experience that connection, it feels so good. You feel so aligned with yourself. So I think that even for people who are struggling, they have to reach out for help. Sometimes we're too embarrassed or too um, afraid to say what's going on, to speak our truth. So, I feel like reaching out and connecting with other people is one way to deal with any kind of problem besides surrendering and believing that.
Absolutely. That is the most humane way too. And it is through listening and sharing our stories that we empower others to share theirs. So that is a gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Tiffany, from the bottom
Thank
of my
you,
heart,
Anna. Thank
for
you.
being so open and inspiring. It was a true honor to have you on this podcast.
Honor to be here, truly.
And I hope that we will have another conversation again pretty soon because we have a lot of things to discuss, a lot more things.
Yes, let's get a part two.
Yeah, yeah.
And if
This was
anyone
part
has
one.
questions about this or wants to put it into play and give me a hypothetical, we can do something crazy on the spot. You give me your hypothetical question, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to tell you how to get out of it.
You're awesome.
I
You're
want to help
awesome.
people just like you, Anna.
I know, I know, I know. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I know I'll see your face again.
I know. Of course you will. Of course you will. You won't get rid of me that easily.
I don't
I'm
want
here to
to.
stay. I'm here to stay.
Thank you for
So
sharing space with me and for all the beautiful work you're putting out into the world.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, as we say, thank you for being here with me. Ego was here. You're here. And that's enough.